Welcome friends, welcome back to the kitchen and Sunday morning in the old cookbook show. Today we're going to do a recipe out of the Cook's Book, put out by the KC Baking Powder Company in 1931, based in Chicago. Now this is an absolutely gorgeous cookbook. To me it is kind of the height of advertising cookbooks. The pictures are incredible. The paintings actually, because they are in full color. Absolutely beautiful. If anyone has ever held in their hand an early J. Peterman catalog from the late 1980s, early 1990s, I can see where J. Peterman got his ideas because this speaks of J. Peterman. And if you don't know who J. Peterman is, maybe look it up and see if you can get a hold of one of their early catalogs or take a look at it. They were absolutely beautiful too. So, in this mixing jug, I have put the flour, salt, and the baking powder, quite a bit of baking powder, and it asks me to sift it together 3 times. Now, in the 1930s, there was a real reason to sift your flour. You wanted to get rid of the clumps, and you also wanted to catch any stray insects or bugs that might be in the flour. It's not as important today, but if a recipe asks you to do it, you probably should. So, excuse me while I do this 3 times. Now, next it asks for a cup of thin cream or rich milk. I'm kind of thinking that's around about half and half, or 10% milk fat cream. Some people would call it coffee cream. Here in Canada, it's usually called half and half or moite-moite. So I'm going to put in maybe 3/4 of a cup of heavy cream, and I'm going to cut that with some milk, which is 3.25%. So I'm going to end up with something that's probably a little richer than the recipe asks for. But I think being on the rich side is probably better than being on the thin side. Now the whites go in this bowl so that we can whip them to dry peaks. And the yolks go in with the milk. Okay, now I've got some melted butter here, actually a 1/4 pound of melted butter, and I'm going to put that in with the milk. And I'm just going to whisk this together to break up the egg yolks and incorporate it all. So I've got the egg yolks all broken in, that's all mixed together. Let's whip up these egg whites. Okay, the waffle iron is hot, and kind of my thing about making waffles is if it takes longer to make the batter than to heat the waffle iron, get a new recipe. This recipe is walking the line of taking almost too long. Now, liquid into the dry. And the next step is to add the egg whites, and it just says to add them. It doesn't say to fold them in, but I'm going to fold them in. So, just like I would for any other recipe, I'm going to put in about 1/3 of the egg whites, and I'm just going to stir those in vigorously, and that sort of lightens everything up so that it's easier to fold the rest in. And then the second third, and we fold these in. Now, it said to beat the egg whites until they were dry, which does make folding difficult. And into the waffle iron. And everybody's waffle iron is going to be a little bit different. Hey, Jules.
Hey, Glenn. Hey, friends. Daytime waffles.
Yes.
Woo! Let me see what we got for it. Ha-ha. Oh.
So not our regular, oh my, we're almost out.
We're going to be in trouble soon.
Okay. So I'm going to pour a little bit. I like the light with my waffles.
I actually don't put any on my waffles.
Julie doesn't put any on hers. I'm just going to put a little to dip so that I can taste the waffle in.
I love maple syrup, but I do prefer jam and other flavors with my waffles.
So this is a beaten egg white waffle.
Okay.
From the 1931 KC Baking Powder Cookbook.
Ooh. They look lovely.
Yeah.
They're very thick. They're crispy.
They look kind of nice inside. Okay. You know what it tastes like to me? What does it taste like to you?
Oil.
Yeah. A Yorkshire pudding.
Yes. Thank you.
It tastes like
We like an Yorkshire pudding.
it tastes like a Yorkshire pudding, and there's a couple of reasons for that probably because it's got basically the same ingredients. The
Does it have a lot of oil?
it has a quarter pound of butter.
Ah.
So
Butter.
Yorkshire puddings don't have baking powder, but all of the other flavors are the same. And since this doesn't have any vanilla or sugar in the batter,
Oh,
there's
interesting. Okay.
there's no other flavoring. So what you're getting is exactly what you get with Yorkshires.
Now I want to know what Yorkshire puddings taste like with maple syrup on them instead of gravy, because that was pretty good.
They'd be amazing, wouldn't they?
But then, you know, anything that soaks up your maple syrup is usually pretty good. It doesn't, I'm not picky.
Okay, so this is a pretty standard waffle base. This is for a whole class of waffles. This is the method. This is sort of the basic proportions. People will put in a little bit of sugar, either white sugar or brown sugar, into the batter so that it cooks in with it just to sort of lighten and sweeten it. And they will also put in vanilla or one of the other flavoring oils, like maybe a little bit of lemon oil or orange oil, just to kind of liven it a little
Whatever
bit.
makes you happy.
That's it. Whatever makes you happy, whatever you have in your cupboard, this is a great base to make waffles. And even though you have to beat the egg whites and fold them in, it really didn't take that much longer. You can pretty much put this together in the time it takes to heat your waffle iron.
Which is true for many things.
So, thanks for stopping by. See you again soon.